Welcome to another episode, Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That's the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, the JLE Experience. I own the music and copyright, so I'm muting on Facebook. I need to say that. We got another amazing guest for you in this season 11. We have a fellow Wayne State University alum, Warrior Strong.
Yes.
That's the slogan now, Warrior Strong. How about that? And financial services professional, Taylor Dill-Reese. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you sharing your journey.
Yes.
First, basic question. What led you to this path?
So it's a funny story.
Okay.
During or right before the pandemic, I was approached by my financial advisors. Loved their conversation. They helped me get my finances in order. At the time, I didn't have life insurance. I have 2 kids. I didn't have life insurance. My kids didn't have life insurance. I've been an entrepreneur for 7 years. I had no retirement accounts, nothing about a brokerage account. I had nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They literally helped me turn my life around. And that happened for about, I want to say about 2 years.
Okay.
And I was supposed to move to Houston last year. And I got a job in the industry down there.
Mm-hmm.
Started going through the trainings. I didn't move, but I was going through the trainings while I was still here in Michigan. Hated the company, and I already had my licenses. Like, it was ghetto. I don't even want to mention the name of the company.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
It was real ghetto, and I'm like, yeah, no, like, to the point it was unprofessional, and I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, and I ended up having to stay. I had some issues with my custody with my son's dad, so I ended up having to stay.
Okay.
And my financial advisors were like, hey, you got your license. You might as well just come over here and work with us at Mass. And I'm like, well, I mean, I was going to go to Houston to work, so I might as well, give it a try and let's see what happens here. And so I started in the industry and I love it. I never thought that I could get further as far as impacting people.
Mm-hmm.
As I have, like, with my cleaning company, because I impact people a lot with my cleaning company. I never thought that I would be able to supersede that. And I have been able to do that in this industry by helping families learn stuff that people like us we don't have these conversations.
No.
We don't, and we need to.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of people like us in the industry. And so it's growing now, but when my mom was my age, there was probably nobody in the industry that looked like her. So that's a long time span for there to not be anyone that people in our community can go to and talk to about financial planning. And so I'm like, hey, I'm female, and me being female is even less. So me being Black is one, but Black female, it's very little of us. And so I'm like, I have to make this impact because there are young girls that could be doing the same thing that I'm doing when they get to my age and can be the game changer. So I'm just building the foundation.
Awesome. So, what is a financial services professional and what are their duties?
So I like to say that we architect financial plans for our clients.
Okay.
So we help them build a plan that is going to fit their goals and their needs for their family. We help pass on generational wealth. A lot of wealth is not generational in our community because they're not proper. The channels aren't properly tuned in our culture. And so my goal is to help bring awareness, have those conversations that are tough. They're tough, I know. But to have those conversations, to build up a plan so that the goals that you want to meet, whether that be to be able to retire at 45 or be able to pass on generational wealth to your kids, your grandkids, great grandkids, whatever that may be, that is what my goal is. My job is to help my clients meet their goals, their financial goals.
Okay. Now you mentioned your cleaning company, Taylor Touch Cleaning Services. Who made you start that company?
So Taylor is a little bit of a Jane of all trades. I prepare taxes during the tax season. I've been doing that for about 12 years. And when I first started, I had a lot of clients that were entrepreneurs. And I'm like, I want to start a business. I'm like, but what can I start? At the time, I wasn't really making that much money. And I had my son. He was probably 12 years. He was like 2 at the time. And I'm like, what can I do that doesn't require a lot of overhead, but that can be profitable? And at the time, I was cleaning up my office that I worked at, and I'm like, I could start a cleaning company. So I looked up online what it required in Michigan. So Michigan doesn't have crazy licensing that you have to own a cleaning company. Thank God. Some states do. I looked up the pricing for supplies, bought the supplies. I started with a vacuum, a mop, and a bucket, a couple of sprays. And my godmother stays downtown, and in her complex, they have like an online neighborhood forum where you could post stuff like a bulletin, but it's virtual.
Okay.
So I posted my business card on there, got a couple clients in her apartment complex and in the surrounding complexes downtown. And from there, my business just grew. So I've been in business almost 7.5 years. And I would say that 90 to 95% of my clientele have came from word of mouth. In almost 7.5 years, I've spent less than $1,500 in advertisement marketing. And most of that was spent on like business cards, or if I did like some type of expo or something like that where I needed some flyers. That was where most of the money came from. And then like my website. But other than that, I've spent very little money. And my company has grown since then. We service about 30 clients a month.
Nice.
And it's all been word of mouth, literally word of mouth. So
that's amazing. Now, you did mention in doing that has helped you with what you're doing now. How so?
So for one, it's boosted my people skills. My network has grown tremendously. Owning my cleaning company, I have created a lot of very valuable relationships with clients. And then I've also been not just the cleaner, but the therapist. I've helped people through their challenges. Or I had this one client that was very, very dear to my heart. I serviced them for 5 years. Her and her husband and her grandson passed in the 5 years that I was servicing them. So first it was her husband. Then her grandson passed during COVID. I think he passed in 2021. And she passed last March.
Okay.
Last March she passed. I bring her up because that relationship that I had with her, she was an older lady. She was like 90. Miss Denise was like 96, I want to say. She was an older lady. I serviced them every week, would come in and clean. And honestly, I was literally just a conversation for her. I would come in, we would talk, we would laugh. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I worked while I was pregnant with my daughter in the beginning. Up until she was 9 months, she used to come to work with me. And so she would come to her house and she would play with her, and it would just be joy. after her husband passed, me and my kids would go and have dinner with her once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it was just so impactful. And literally, she had, when I went to her funeral or her repast, literally it was family members that I had never met before that knew about me and came up to me and said, like, she had probably like 10 grandkids, great grandkids, great
Mm-hmm.
great grandkids. And they came up to me and was like, thank you so much for taking care of my grandma. And I think that she was probably my most impactful client. She touched my soul in a way that nobody else has touched my soul. And I just love taking care of people. And so being in a new industry, I still can do that. I still am bringing that same, I can still take care of you. And if I don't have the answers, I'm going to go find them. And I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're taken care of at all costs. And so I love that I'm able to still do that in the industry because it comes from my heart. So,
Yeah, definitely. I was custodian in Wayne State for 20 some years. I kept changing my major and they was paying for it. You do develop psychologist, therapist, pastor, brother,
listen, it
cousin,
all.
friend.
I
And you
definitely
came there to pull the
have
trash. He like, oh my God, they're wailing. What's wrong with this person?
friends.
And then you just get locked in. Like, okay, well, I don't want to leave them like that.
Yeah,
And you start developing those relationships to where it makes you a better person along the way too. Give you their perspective that you
definitely.
never know what people are going through. And the smallest act of kindness you might give them in that moment can give them that encouragement to keep going.
Yeah, yeah, for
Shout out
sure.
to all the people that's in the cleaning industry.
It's not for the weak.
Oh no. Some people are nasty. When you
It,
say you really, bro, really, sis.
it is not. It's not for the weak.
Mm-hmm. I just have a saying with my bosses. As long as that 3,500 clears for my classes, A1 treatment, clean anything you want for 8 hours. Mom, they say it ain't going through. I'm kicking every garbage can over, watch cartoons, and still it clears. Then I clean it all back up. That's our contract. You pay for college, spick and span. I'm gonna do it for you. They
Yeah.
like, you're dead serious. Like, oh, I'm dead serious. Let me check and say, oh, it ain't go through. I ain't cleaning nothing. You think them some bad workers we got? They ain't got nothing on what I'm gonna show you. Until that 3,500 clear. All right, let's get back to grind.
Yeah.
They're like, you crazy. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. God know the child he made. Now we reached the point to market promote your stuff. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
Well, if you find yourself, so one I would like to clear up. I feel like there's a discrepancy with financial planning. People, when I say financial planning, people think either A, they have to have money, a lot of money, or B, their money has to be messed up.
Okay.
And so I want to take this time to clear the misconceptions that are surrounding financial planning. So there are rich people that have advisors or financial planners, and there are people that are common, just like you and myself, that have financial planners. When I met my advisors, my company was probably grossing 45K. But there was still a need. I had no life insurance. I had no retirement plan. And so my goal is to clear up that misconception. Everybody should have an advisor at some point when
Yeah.
they, at some point, to just have a conversation. So my Calendly link is at the bottom, or you can search Taylor Dill-Reese and Calendly. Just set up a meeting. Just book a meeting. I'm not going to try to sell you anything, where it's a conversation. Literally, I want to see, what are your goals? What have you done thus far to reach those goals? Where are some areas that you're struggling? What are some gaps that you have? So at the end of the day, today is the youngest and the healthiest we'll ever be. And so with that being said,
Mhm.
time is of the essence. There are some things that we have to get into place now while we're young so that these things can start working for us when we're older. And I think that that's another misconception that people think, well, I have time. Time's not promised to any of us. The day, the hour, it's not promised. And so my goal is to make sure that when it's time, when your time is your time, everything is set up, regardless of how much money you have, if you're rich, or if you just a common woman or man like I was when I first met my advisors. But that is what my goal is. So book a meeting, 60 minutes tops. I promise I will get you out of there. Let's talk and have a conversation. Tell me what your needs are. Tell me what your goals are. What are you trying to achieve? And let's see if we can align.
You ever thought about writing a book?
I have.
30 cents ain't wrong.
I have. I don't have enough time. I told you I'm a Jane of all trades. I'm also a licensed life coach. I am a Jane of all trades. So if I could dedicate some time to write a book, I would. I know that my story is impactful. I had my son when I was 16 years old. Everyone told me that I wasn't going to graduate from high school. I wasn't going to go to college. I wasn't going to be anything if I kept my son. And
Look at you now.
look at me now. So, and I've made such an impact all over. And so I should dedicate the time.
But they do got the programs. I think Google Doc it'll dictate you speak and then it type it for you.
I've heard.
If you ever get around to it, no pressure.
I've heard. I'm working on it. Maybe in the next couple years, you all will see a book out there.
Cause I remember that I graduated '96 from Cooley, and it seemed like 11th grade, everybody was bumping the ground and getting pregnant. Like, what the? It's trying to be a damn nursery, and I see you around. What the hell's going on around here?
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying, man. Every time I look up, all right, but we would help with their books and all that. Make sure they had lunch because they were still coming at you. And even the thuggest of thugs would help out. Because it's like, okay, you still going. So
Yeah.
got you covered.
It wasn't that many pregnant. It wasn't that many pregnant girls in my high school, but it was challenging. I mean, I still graduated the top 20% of my class. I graduated on time. It was challenging, but I did it, and my son is growing up with me. so yeah.
Now, you went to Wayne State.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. How did that prepare you for what you're doing now?
That's a great question, actually. So I've been having this conversation with a lot of like teenagers and middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne State, although it's not easy. So I started out in pre-med, thought I was going to be a pediatrician, got in. Most of my professors spoke Mandarin. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do pre-med. I don't know what you're saying. Or they were 90 years old. I'm sure you've experienced the same thing. Wayne
I was
State.
engineering first and
Wayne State.
beating my head in like Ben Wallace.
I'm like, yeah. So I switched to sociology. And what I would say is college in general, not just Wayne State, but college in general, how it prepares you for the real world is it teaches you how to be independent, for one. Because in high school, you have teachers that are, for the most part, checking up after you, your parents.
Mm-hmm.
College teaches you independence because ain't no professor gonna check on you to see if you're doing your work and let you know when it's late. And they're not doing that unless they love you because you have shown them something. But other than that, no, they're not chasing after you for your work. You're gonna fail and lose your money, or you're gonna pass. They taught me how to send an email. Yeah, that might sound basic, but I have received some emails in my adult life, and I'm like, who raised y'all?
Man, look here. Let me get my little soapbox. Before I graduated from Illich, they made us start doing a paper because they were getting the fillers back that the people graduating were not on corporate level with emails, anything that they had to type. It was
Well,
AOL type
that must
stuff.
have slacked a little because I was taught how to send an email at
Oh, what the hell?
but
But
you'll
you're
be
right.
surprised. You'll be surprised because
Yeah.
I hire people for my cleaning company, and the emails that I've received, or even just the communication between boss and employee, and I'm like, college trains you up to, because they tell you when you send an email, you need to have a greeting, then put your body, and then put a signature. And a lot of people just send it like they're texting. No, that's not how you.
Yep.
That's not how you send an email. That's not how you say hello.
Yep.
So and so, address them. Then you put a body, and then you say who it's from. Why are we? This is an email. You could have texted me that.
Hey, I'm feeling you.
So it taught me how to send an email. It taught me how to network. So I met a lot of people in college, a lot of people which I am still in contact with. One of my best friends, me and him met my freshman year, or him and I met my freshman year. And we're still best friends to this day. So it's 12 years of friendship. And I've met some of my power connectors. I met them in college. So it just teaches you things that you just can't get in the real world. Not to say you don't need real world or street knowledge as well, but I feel like a healthy balance will get you to the success that you want to be at. And so I love Wayne State. I loved my professors in my sociology classes. I loved them. I actually probably need to check in with them. I also love my advisor there. She was dope. So it just gives you a different skills that you just don't get in the streets.
Yeah, I know Kim Morgan, Dr. Kim Morgan now, call her Yoda. She helped me figure out math. And Stacey Lynn, who's now a professor for accounting. I used, you remember Rand's house had the accounting lab? I used to live in that bad boy. The first time I took accounting and stats together like an idiot and got a D in both of them. Like, okay, Joe, don't you ever do that again. And go to tutoring and learn the game so you can pass. Because we ain't taking nothing over, man. We don't do double. That's like being a super senior. We don't repeat. Damn that. We ain't paying this class back. That's too much money. We're wasting our time.
Yeah.
We've been here too long. It's time to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Now,
definitely feel like that's a good mindset to have. Like we can't, because I didn't have that mindset. There were a couple classes that I took over again, but that's because I had a Pell Grant, and I wasn't really. I had took out some loans. I wasn't really, it wasn't coming
oh
out of my pocket.
man, you can call me Pookie from New Jack City with them long boy. Like, yeah, five.
It
What?
wasn't coming directly out of my pocket. Now, had it been coming out of my pocket, my
Man.
mindset would have been a little bit different. That's another recommendation I would say for college people who want to go to college. Have a plan.
Yeah.
We stick to it because it can cost you money. And Wayne State is not cheap anymore. Wayne State, their tuition goes up $500 every semester. Wayne State is ridiculous. And with their rate, every time there's a new building coming up, just expect the tuition to go up another $500,000 every semester. Every time there's a new building.
It was almost $10 by the time I graduated in 20.
Yeah,
Hard
no.
$10
So
now.
the Illich building, the business
They were
school.
cheap. They
So
used to sell that.
but that wasn't there when I went there.
Yep.
What
That
else
was like
wasn't there?
$7.
They just started redoing the engineering building. All that stuff that was on Anthony Wayne was not there.
Yeah, that looked crazy now.
All of that stuff was not there. So once
Yep.
they started building those buildings, tuition just kept skyrocketing every semester. And I'm like, no.
They look like a real campus now with all the stuff they built where you can really
It does
just
look
go to class and leave. You can hang out now.
Yeah, it does. It does look nice.
And they
I
got the
hope
new
it's worth y'all
president.
tuition, cause woo.
Yeah. I know they got the new president, Dr. Kimberly Espy. Ain't she the
Yeah,
first president in a while?
I haven't been
Looking,
staying up on it.
looking to interview her once she gets situated down there.
That would be dope.
Yeah. If she friended me, I would appreciate. Shout out to her. And she always posts on LinkedIn that I forget we do that Wayne State and the Tiger thing. Like I never went to it. Like man, I got too much stuff to do. I am alumni, so I should pop my head down there. Just say what up, though.
Yeah,
Put
maybe
all
some.
that work in. You know. All right. I did that. Any other thing you got going on before we move to the next question?
Um, no.
Okay. I don't know why, but I feel compelled to ask. What do you want? What's a goal of yours in the next 5 years?
Great question. In the next 5 years, if the Lord sees it fit and it is aligned with his plans, I would love to be married within the next 5 years. Um, I in the next 5 years, I will be a fully licensed advisor. So I will have all of my security licenses as well as my CFP designation.
Okay.
And maybe working on possibly starting my own firm.
Okay.
That's
Nice.
what I would like to accomplish in the next 5 years. My son will be going to college, so you know, yeah,
Okay. I believe it's all attainable for you.
yeah.
Okay. So, what has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
So my biggest challenge for my cleaning company would be hiring people.
Okay.
And I know that so for a long time I didn't want to hire, but I knew that hiring was necessary for growth. I didn't want to hire because my clients were like my babies. They were like my prized possessions and I just didn't want I didn't want nothing to go wrong. And I
Mm-hmm.
knew that the only way that nothing could go wrong is if I was the one that was doing everything. Because even
Mm-hmm.
if it did go wrong, I would take accountability for it. Very little did anything ever go wrong when I was cleaning by myself.
Got you.
Hiring has been my biggest challenge because unfortunately, and I know people have been saying this, and I know some people don't believe it, but people don't want to work. And in this industry, you have to work. Like there's
Yeah.
you can't, finagle your way through. Like you have to work. You can't half clean. You have to work. And so I feel like that has been my biggest challenge. Um, turnover rate. But I've talked to other cleaning companies and
Mm-hmm.
their employee turnover rate is high as well. This industry just has a very high turnover rate. I mean, one, because I think it's a stigma that
Oh,
like
yeah.
nobody wants to be a maid or
Oh,
whatever.
oh. At
It's
Wayne State, I had secretaries basically say, "You the help because you're a custodian." And then we started having a conversation, find out my tuition is fully covered, bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. Huh? They only cover 1/4. Like, oh, sorry to be you. Well, we got this. We got the Terry Creft. You put $1 in, they put two or whatever. Oh wow, we like this might be good friends. Like, so why are you looking down because I'm cleaning? It's an honest job.
Yeah, it is an honest job.
Nothing wrong with it. If
Nope.
that's all you want to do with your life, it's been people that have been millionaires doing that.
Yeah. And
There's nothing wrong with it.
but people don't see it that way. And
No.
so, I mean, I've fluctuated the pay. Like I've started, when I first started, I think I was paying $10 an hour 7 years ago. Last pay was $17.50 an hour, which, I gotta make money for myself too. I gotta feed a family. So it's like I can't pay you $25 an hour for cleaning, because then that means I gotta charge $500 a clean, and nobody's going to pay that. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, you gotta be realistic with the
So
finances of business.
yes. So that has been my biggest challenge.
Okay.
And it hasn't been because my clients look down on us, because I have really great relationships with all of my clients. I've even brought some over into my new business. So it's like, that's not it. People just don't want to work. It's really honestly been my hardest obstacle.
Yeah, we it's like we lost a generation where we were taught anything in life you want to get, you got to put some work behind it, and that's okay to do it. We stuck on microwave mode. Like, wait a minute, I have a great idea and I should be a billionaire in how long? It's 5 minutes. What's up? Like, it don't work that way. The steps.
Yeah.
They
Well,
heard
the problem is that we live in a generation where people only display what they want you to see. And because social media is so prevalent, people are only going to display to you their wins. They're not going to show you their losses. That's just, that's baffling. Like, they're not going to show you, I didn't cry, my back hurt, and they're not going to show you the grind. They're just going to show you the end results, and people have to understand that that's not real. That's not reality. That's just social media. That's entertainment. And as sooner we get to realizing that that's entertainment,
the Bible says you don't work, you don't eat. It was put in there for a reason.
Yeah.
No matter what faith you believe in, they all believe in you working to get something. Everybody got the mindset, well, it's gonna be magic if I do that. Keep thinking that.
Or everybody thinks that they could be an entrepreneur, and honestly,
that takes time.
Entrepreneurship is not. I hope y'all listening. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak or the faint at heart. It is rough. There are times where eviction notices were on the door, where cars were repossessed. It is a roller coaster.
I mean, anybody that's done something, I used to always watch a lot of behind the music stories or the stories about people, and anyone that ever watched who became something, all said there's gonna be highs and lows, and it takes time, but you will hit your stride where it keep going to where you on point. But it's a process. So if you ain't willing to go through the process, don't even try it.
And your workmanship has to stay the same regardless of whether or not you're high or low. Your customer service has to stay the same regardless if you're at a high or at a low. Regardless of whether or not your car is evicted, your customer service still to or not evicted but repossessed. Your customer service skills still have to be the same. And people they don't know how to separate emotions from real life. And so I don't know who lied to y'all. Somebody got to work for somebody. Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. That's not how it works. It is not how it works. Okay, it's not how it works. It's not gonna work. So
yeah, I remember a visor for the Apex program at Wayne State. I can't remember her name, but she gave me the greatest game ever. Now you pull someone trade, they start asking you questions. Are you in school? What you doing? What's your goal? You want to own your own company? Like, well, you need to start acting like a CEO right now. Like, huh? I just stopped with my track. What you mean? You just because you clean, that's not who you are. So you need to rebrand yourself, and from this day forward, carry yourself as if you have that company and how you want to move when you engage people.
Yeah.
Because you network even by putting people trash. Like, dang, I ain't know that. She's game. and it changed my whole outlook on how I clean. And I started learning before I left, it would get back to when people say my name. We need more like him, damn good cleaner, right mindset, blah blah blah. But some other people, oh my god, they suck, don't want to do nothing, they complain like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, your brand is you. You really do gotta, you don't know
Yep.
who watching you. You gotta make sure you're on point. Because you never
Listen,
know who God gonna use to help you out.
and you never know who knows you
Hmm.
or who knows somebody that you know. And I've realized that within the last couple months, I've been out and have met new people, and they know we got like 3 different connections that we know each other from. Well, we never met, but they know 3 other people that I know, and I know them very well. And it's like you just never know. And I always say, I say this almost every day. I'm just glad I'm a good person, a nice person, because I literally run into people almost every single day that know somebody that I know. And it's like, if you're not a good person, you could really taint your brand, you could taint your
Mhm.
future. Like, you really can throw your whole future in the
Mhm.
garbage.
I was
So,
trying. I went past that game for like, are you being a person I want to come to word, this and that? You change the way you move.
yeah,
They might help you get to where you're going.
yeah.
Some of them they did, and it was shocked. Like people watching you, they could have someone say, "Man, I want to give someone supervisor spot, 60 grand." You know anybody want an opportunity? Well, I do know someone, but nah, they lazy, don't come to work, don't do nothing. So, and that could have been an opportunity. Like, this person be grinding their ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let me tell them, come here real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Never know.
Never know.
And I said
Never know.
people don't think about it that way. That's
They
old
don't.
school.
They'll learn though.
Oh yeah, they're gonna learn.
They'll
They're gonna
learn.
get that lesson. Whether you want to get it the right way, the hard way, the
It's gonna come knocking.
coming. In your words, what has been your impact in the community?
Impacts. I feel like I've made such a positive impact in so many ways. With my cleaning company, I've literally helped people who were living in hoarding situations be able to breathe. With just being a going back to being a good person,
Mhm.
I have encouraged people who literally didn't know if they were going to make it to the next day,
Mm.
that have came back and said, you just speaking to me encouraged me to keep pushing forward. um I would say that my biggest and greatest impact that I have made in the community is by showing people that it doesn't matter what you go through, what you've been through, you can get through it. Everything that you need is within. You just have to believe it. And I've done that with kids. I've done that. I've went and spoke at my son's former school.
Mhm.
Um, I've done that at my church.
Okay.
I go to Trinity in Pontiac, Trinity Missionary Baptist in Pontiac. Shout out to Trinity.
Okay.
I have done that with the kids there. Just being a great person just goes a long way. I would love to do impact, especially the kids more. I have been a life coach to some high schoolers who didn't have confidence, didn't know what they were gonna do or how they were gonna do it, didn't know how to make friends, didn't feel comfortable in their own skin, and literally changed that whole trajectory to the point where they were making friends and literally are living more confident and more abundantly. So I would love to do more impact. If
Okay.
anybody has the opportunities, if they want me to come and speak. I've spoke to some kids at I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. King. Sorry, it's late. I'm tired, y'all. But I spoke to kids at King about financial literacy and just entrepreneurship. That was really impactful. I really enjoyed talking to them, just to see where their heads were. What do they want to do? Why do they want to do that? So that was dope. So, I mean, if anybody has any more opportunities, if you want me to come and speak to your kids, I love the kids. The kids love me. So I would love to come and, just spread some joy and some love. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Okay. Now for that Yoda game. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Purpose. One, I would say never give up. Sometimes you find your purpose in your trials.
True.
I don't know if those who are listening are believers, but I know that my purpose is directly tied with and aligned with what God's plan is for my life. And I know that every trial, every tribulation that I have been through thus far has propelled me to my purpose. It has been rough. There have been days when I did not know how I was going to get through them. I didn't know if I even wanted to. There were days when I wanted to throw the towel in. But see, when I throw the towel in, I throw it just far enough where it's away from me, but not too far where I can't go and pick it back up.
Okay.
You might have to throw the towel just a little bit. Get some of the anchor off. But don't go too far. Don't put it in the garbage or throw it down. Just throw it so it's away from you, but go pick it back up.
Oh man.
I just had to pick it back up. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man. I feel that.
Stay encouraged. Don't give up. Believe in something. Because if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for everything. And just remember that the trials and the tribulations that you go through today are just propelling you to your purpose in the future. It will all make sense eventually. It may not make sense right now, but when you look back over your life, when you look back over your life and just started going through the Rolodex of the experiences that you've been through, it will all make sense.
Man, you preaching. A lot of bullshit I've encountered in life, like, let's help somebody else. How about that?
It's always that. So that's the other thing. Not to get too preachy on y'all.
Okay.
But the trials we go through, they're not for us. They're not to beat us down. They're not to run us, throw boulders at. They're not for us. They're always to help somebody else. Think about that person that you wanted and needed when you were struggling, that maybe came, maybe they didn't come because they missed their purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to be that person for somebody else. And that is where your purpose and where your power comes from. Just know that what you are going through is temporary. It's a season. And with seasons come changes. I just prayed this on the prayer call this morning. With seasons come changes. Every season. From fall to winter, winter to spring, spring to summer, there's always a change, summer to fall. But it's temporary. That season is always temporary. Michigan, as crazy as the weather has been, we've never had a whole 12 months where it's been winter. We've never had a whole 12 months when it's been summer.
Might get them all in 1 week.
We might get them all in 1 week. Sometimes in 1 day.
Yep.
But it's still temporary. We don't get them all for 12 months. So just know that this season too shall pass. And it's for your good. The spring comes, flowers are watered, so that when summer comes, they can grow. They grow in the summer so that when fall comes, they can be harvested. It's all a part of the journey. And then I guess fall to winter they can rest. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Man,
I don't know. But
yeah.
but they all serve as a purpose. So just know that season shall pass. That is temporary. Don't throw the towel in completely. Just, throw it a little way away and then go pick it back up. Never give up. And know that your story, your testimony, your trials is going to help somebody else. That's somebody that you may have needed that you didn't have.
See, while you was giving that great Yoda game, I was sitting there remembering whenever some bull crap happened, me and my friends had a thing where we'd get some paper, and as a stress relief, we were like, man, bump this and slap it off the table just to laugh at it. I mean, it was a lot of times.
Right over there on the floor. You go pick the paper back up.
Yep, we gonna pick it up laughing like, no. Because it'd be unexpected. You might watch TV like, man, bump this. Like, what's wrong? Oh, dang, that happened. Oh, that sucks. And we'll laugh. And this dude knocked all the papers everywhere. Like,
and then you gotta go pick
this with somebody else. Like that. Ooh. that really sucks because that moment sucked, but it helped somebody else down the road.
Yep. 100%.
Well, what is your first podcast?
You said what?
What is your first time on a podcast?
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. It's like my third time.
Okay.
Third or fourth.
Did you feel comfortable? I lived up to the tagline, treat you like family.
Yes. This is great. I love the questions that you asked. I hope that my answers help somebody.
Oh, definitely.
In whatever capacity that may look like.
Oh, that's you get that mama stuff. But, hey, this ain't for everybody. Move along. Like,
it's too many people lying. It's too many people lying out here. I ain't even gonna lie.
Talking.
It's too many people lying. Too many people lying out here.
This ain't for you.
It's not. The ebbs and the flows is just not for everybody. It's not.
Well, I definitely appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's going to help someone who's watching it live or watch the replay. All 31 countries, all the age groups that rock with us. I want to thank fellow Wayne State University alum and financial services professional, life coach, and CEO, Taylor Dill-Reese, for sharing her story and reminding you that entrepreneurship ain't for everybody.
Thank you for having me. You guys can follow me on socials too. I am Taylor's Touch on Instagram. Just send me a DM. You want to talk, you want to chat, you feel inspired, let me know.
See, this what I'm talking about right here. It's my big brother. I'm gonna talk about him. I'm late. She covered her life story. You have to watch the replay, man. We're about to be out of here. Get ready. This is JLE Nights, the sports show coming up shortly. In ground floor, the social conversation show. You're more than welcome to be a guest on that whenever you might have time.
Okay.
All right, now we talking about relationship stuff, so that's very interesting.
I would love to talk about some relationship stuff. Let me put some input on that.
Oh, okay. You got time tonight? It's at 11:30 if you got time.
Possibly.
No. Text me, well, email me if you're available around 10 something. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But tonight we're going to talk about, do you need to be with someone? Because you could be codependent, don't know.
That's deep. That's deep.
You have grown folk conversation on the ground floor.
That's deep right there.
It's going to be some good conversation. So hopefully you might see her later if she got time. And I'm pretty sure she got some interesting takes. But get ready for the sports show. My amazing co-host and her wild takes on the Lions quarterback and whatever she got. It's going to be a great show. It's JLE Friday nights. She started off, folks. great the big mama talking. Pay attention to it. Retweet it out. Let people know about it. So I thank you. If you can't make it to the night show, maybe another time you're available.
100%.
Appreciate your time. Hope you enjoy your night. If
Thank
you can't
you.
come to the ground floor, we're gonna chop it up. Oh, how about this? My homeboy Yarnell. Well, okay. People that don't never really come around showing up. Appreciate it. But what I love been at all the time, just 11 seasons, man. I'm just saying. It's live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn all the time. I'm just saying. A little love don't hurt. You know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now they know I'm gonna mess with them. But you enjoy your night. Everybody watch this. Enjoy yourself. And till next time.
Bye, guys.
Detroit raised me. Detroit.